In a small town nestled between vast mountains and endless fields, there lived a young man named Elias. From the moment he was old enough to understand words, he had been told a story, one that he repeated to himself every day. You are not special. You will never be great. You are destined for failure. Just like your father. His father, a man broken by his own regrets, had spent years drowning in self-pity, whispering the same words into Elias' ears. And so, Elias believed them. At school, he never spoke up. In sports, he never tried too hard. Every time an opportunity came his way, a voice inside whispered, "Why bother? You're not meant for this." And so, he let life pass him by. Until one evening, under a sky painted in the deep hues of twilight, he met the old storyteller. The storyteller was a peculiar man, his beard long, his eyes sharp, his presence commanding. He had traveled from distant lands, sharing wisdom with those willing to listen. When he saw Elias sitting alone, staring at the ground, he approached him with a quiet smile. "You seem troubled," the old man said. Elias looked up, surprised. "I'm fine." The storyteller chuckled. "No, you are not. You walk as if carrying chains. Yet I see none." Elias frowned. "What do you mean?" The old man studied him. "Tell me, what story do you tell yourself every day?" Elias hesitated but then sighed. "That I am nothing. That I will fail. That my life has already been decided for me." The storyteller nodded, as if he had heard this story 1,000 times before. "And what if I told you that the story you believe is nothing but a lie?" Elias blinked. "A lie?" The old man leaned forward. "A lion raised among sheep will believe he is weak, until he looks in the mirror and sees his own reflection." Elias frowned. "I don't understand." "You will," the storyteller said, "if you are willing to change your story." The next day, Elias found himself standing in a clearing outside of town, where the storyteller had led him. Before him lay 3 doors, each marked with a single word: fear, pain, truth. The storyteller gestured to them. "These doors represent the stories you have told yourself your entire life. If you wish to change your destiny, you must face them all." Elias hesitated. "And if I fail?" The old man smiled. "Then you fail. And then you rise." With a deep breath, Elias stepped forward. Door 1. Fear. As soon as he entered, he was engulfed by darkness. Then, voices filled the void. "You are not good enough. You will embarrass yourself. Everyone will laugh at you." The words came from the shadows, circling him like hungry beasts. Elias' hands trembled. He had heard these voices his whole life. But then, a thought struck him. What if they are wrong? The moment he questioned the voices, the shadows recoiled. What if I am good enough? A blinding light burst forth, and the darkness shattered. When he opened his eyes, the door had disappeared. He had conquered fear. Door 2. Pain. Inside this door, Elias felt every failure, every heartbreak, every moment of suffering he had ever endured. He saw himself as a child, crying alone. He saw himself being mocked, rejected. He saw himself running away from opportunities, afraid of failing. Pain surged through him. He fell to his knees. "I can't do this." But then, another thought emerged. Pain is not here to break me. It is here to shape me. With clenched fists, he stood up. The pain did not disappear, but something within him changed. He no longer feared it. And so, the second door vanished. Door 3. Truth. Elias stepped into a room filled with mirrors. In each reflection, he saw a different version of himself. The weak boy who never tried. The man who believed he was doomed. The version of himself who had already given up. But then, in the largest mirror, he saw something else. A version of himself that stood tall. A version of himself who had conquered his fears. A version of himself who had rewritten his story. "This is who you truly are," a voice whispered. And at that moment, Elias understood. He was never the weak boy. He was never destined for failure. The story he had believed was never real. He had always been the writer of his own destiny. And so, the final door disappeared. When Elias returned to the town, people noticed something different. He no longer walked with his head down. He no longer avoided challenges. And when fear whispered, he whispered back, "You do not control me anymore." He began to speak up. He began to take risks. He began to live. And slowly, the world that had once seemed closed to him began to open. One evening, Elias found the storyteller once more. "You have returned," the old man said with a smile. Elias nodded. And I understand now. The storyteller leaned in. Tell me, what story do you tell yourself now? Elias took a deep breath. That I am strong. That I am worthy. That my future is mine to create. The old man smiled. Then you are ready. Ready for what? For life. Elias looked at the horizon, where the sun was setting. He was no longer the boy who lived in his own shadow. He was the man who had stepped into the light. The story you tell yourself can make or break you. Elias' journey is your journey. Every day, you tell yourself a story. I am not good enough. I will fail. I am destined for nothing. But what if that story is a lie? What if the only thing stopping you is the belief that you can't? You are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you know. Your past does not define you, your actions do. If this story inspired you, subscribe for more. Hit the like button and comment below with the story you are ready to change. Let's build a community of warriors who refuse to be trapped by old beliefs.